these people rudely decided to keep doing the interview after I'd finished it, and we're going to talk about division. The division in the community has really eroded us.
Yeah, 100%. We've got so many strong groups and leaders coming up, and I remember in the early days following Bossy, and he was talking about everyone in army speak, everyone approaching the top of the hill, and whoever gets there, we all attack it from one side, and whoever gets the flag gets the flag, and that's fine. But we've definitely seen it in the awake community where there's been infighting and naysaying and chopping down the other groups, and I think we need a bit more unity. And even if it's not all unity, just your silence is good enough. Let them fight their fight, you fight yours, and hold each other up instead of chopping the other person down, because the infighting doesn't help anyone. We're not going to get there when we're fighting each other.
No, defeating each other. Yeah, instead of getting there from a different angle.
Well, I interviewed a chemist the other day who has never vaccinated anyone. He's in the country here too. And he was talking about this, and he said this is why we've been pushing the blue bee as a symbol of unity. He says, what have we tried marketing to the whole freedom movement? That we celebrate diversity of thought,
yes,
but unity of purpose.
Yeah, 100%. Because we all want our country back. We all want freedom and the prosperity of we're going to live a good, long, fruitful life without being dictated by our government, without being pressured, without being.
Yeah, Cal, can you give me a B?
But yeah, if we're eroding that and dissolving, the trust within the community, the ability to stand up, it's not helping anyone. We're not going to get there.
Yeah.
And the authority, the government, the Labor and the Liberals have been, they're just sitting back and watching us eat ourselves.
Yeah.
And it works to their plan.
I personally don't see how our movement benefits by having people in our movement trying to divide us.
Yeah.
We're already a minority, and we have to grow, not shrink.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is an issue to talk about. I'm really glad we actually did this.
Yeah, well, and in today's day and age, you don't know how much of any of this division is genuine as well.
Are they being paid to do it?
Are they being paid to do it? Is there backing behind that from outside sources, outside countries?
$100,000.
Yeah. Just stir the pot, make these comments, sow that division. So even more now we need to stand together, and and if that group or the other side isn't exactly on your wavelength, just
who cares?
Who cares? Be silent.
Have a debate.
Have a debate, or have a debate. Yeah, exactly right. Because we've all got that same purpose, that same want.
Getting Australia back.
Yeah, getting our country back.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Sure, my grandfather left freedom here, unless my eyes were open when I was born. But this world has left me blind. Is that right, Mother? Am I blind? I'm sure I smelled freedom once in the backwood forests of your eyes. How you said, hide with me, or how else will we ever live free?
Okay, we're in Bridgetown, and who do we have first? You.
It's Hani.
And Michael.
Okay, so let's get cracking. Who were you, and what were you doing as a couple before you'd even heard of COVID?
We were living normal, everyday Australian lives, and
In Clarkson?
in West Australia, and we had our 2 children. I think our son was 13, 14 at the time. Our daughter would have been 8.
8, 9.
Yeah, and I was FIFO. My wife was working a beautician job from home, and everything,
It was
felt
going sweet.
everything was going sweet. Yeah.
And now you're from Chile.
Yes, born in Chile, so moved to Australia in '76.
How old were you? You must have been like 1,
I was 6.
6.
Yeah, so work out the age. So brought up in Melbourne, and I moved to Perth in '98. Yeah.
So was your parents, are they in Melbourne?
Yep, I've got all my family in Melbourne.
I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
That'd be a really interesting question.
Yeah.
So COVID hits. How does it affect your lives?
Definitely smelt that something was off, and I could see the tightening of the laws and regulations happening. Definitely, the alarm bells went off when we went shopping in our local area, and we had a drone flying above our car telling us to separate. A police drone.
That was after 11 p.m. That was at night.
That was at night.
So were you in the car or were you walking?
We had just gotten out of the car and started walking towards the shop, which
Yeah.
I'm not
Because
even
you're a
gonna-
married couple, you're working together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
As you normally would. Yeah, and we had this drone with this voice appearing above us,
Yeah.
asking us to separate 6 feet apart. It was madness. I couldn't believe it. It's like in a bad movie.
Straight out of 1984.
How big was the drone?
I think it was about
Oh, it was a
size.
significant
yeah,
one.
yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
decent one. Yeah. Yeah, it was
blue
so
and red
bizarre.
flashing lights, speaker. Yeah.
Blue and red flashing lights to the speaker.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Did
Yeah.
you get an image of it?
No.
No, I think we were too in shock. We were like, what is going on? That's
Yeah.
when it was like a cold bucket of water falling on me going, wow, this shit's getting really real.
What did you do? Did you say anything or was you separate?
I lost my shit. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm asking her because she's from Chile, so I'm expecting it. So what did you say?
I did.
What
I
you
lose
say?
it. I was like, we live together, we shit together, we eat together. I'm like, wow, what is this madness? And then walking into the shop, and then everyone's got scarves on and masks, and we're not wearing masks. So it was just, I was arguing and fighting a lot in Clarkson shopping centres because I wouldn't do the mask thing. So I was constantly at war with this pandemic. Yeah. But anyways, so it squeezed us out of Clarkson, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, our children were asked to go to school masked, and obviously we tried standing up against that. We said no. I had letters and discussions with the principals at the school. I was talking about our son being at that point in his life. You're really segregating kids, you're not able to see their expression. I said, I'm not comfortable sending my son to school in a mask. And I said, he's going to be completely segregated, if he's not. I said, this is not the right way, for our kids to be treated. And in the end, we end up taking our kids out of school. Over that period, we end up homeschooling.
And you, talk about your job, because you were a FIFO, but you were, just tell us what happened to you.
Okay, so we knew this was all coming to a head, and we started looking to get out of the city. And we looked...
that was June 2021?
Yeah, June. In 2020, we started looking, and in 21, we bought. The day that, and we got a long settlement because we wanted our kids to finish that year at school.
Oh, so you just got a mortgage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we had a mortgage in Perth, and we were taking on a little bit more debt to move to the country and kind of protect ourselves from what was to come. The day that our house sold and settled in Perth was the day that Mark McGowan said that there would be no job. And my heart sank because we'd just taken on more debt, and I was thinking that they were going to do was to stop us from flying on planes or something. I thought the government won't be able to do it, but the corporations could. And the corporations could say, okay, if you don't have a vaccine, you can't fly on, transport on planes. So I thought, if I move down here, I can work at the mine here. And that wasn't the case. So I think that was like June, July 21. And yeah, we had this date, 1st of December 21, that we were moving into this house down here, and I'd no longer have a job. And that was really, really hard. I going to work, going to the mess, they were forcing us to wear masks. I wasn't wearing one. I got pulled to the side. I had a lot of my crew in my work group kind of following me, and I got pulled to the side saying, look, these guys look up to you. You need to start towing the line. And yeah, it was difficult being at work. I stood up at work and
Before we get to work,
yeah,
you've got a family.
yeah,
You've just got an extra debt.
yeah.
You need income coming in, and Mark McGowan basically says,
Yeah, you can no longer work. Yeah.
You must have been under huge pressure thinking, my principles, as I think this is dodgy, I don't want to do it, but at the same time I have obligations because I'm a father and a provider. There must have been a huge amount of pressure. I'm just talking culturally on men.
Yeah, 100%. It was, they're taking away your ability to earn.
So whichever way you felt, you would have felt you were betraying something, betraying your principles, betraying your or betraying your family by not supporting them.
100%, but I mean, at the time I could have gotten a fake passport. In fact, I did have one, but my morals and what I stood for, what I wanted my son and my daughter to see was their father standing by their beliefs. I didn't want them to live in a world where they had to sign in to go into a cafe. I wanted to make sure that we stood against that. And, that's what I wanted to portray to my family.
You expressed that to your workmates too, that, do you want this for the future for your own kids?
Yeah.
Buying a hot dog at Wendy's and they need to scan who they are first. Like, come on, guys, like, wake up. Is this what you want for Australia to become? And they were like mutes. It was just like Michael was the only one talking.
Yeah.
So it was, you're trying to fight for what we have. It's like slowly they were taking it away from all of us.
Yeah.
To the point, like an onion, the layers just coming off, right? And then it really broke us. So yes, people that have had the jab can say, yes, well, it broke us too. Well, it definitely broke us too. We didn't get out of this scot-free at all.
No.
If anything, it's taken us a few years to put our pieces back together again.
Yeah. But I'm thinking the same too. It's just, I'm not putting you down, but I'm saying culturally here, this is what men do. They're saying, I was very lucky, my kids were older, but you're thinking, well, who am I?
It took me into the darkest point of my life.
Wow.
So when we moved down here, we moved on the 1st of December. Officially had no job. I think I finished work 2 days before, and
So how did they sack you? I mean,
there was nothing. There was no sacking. They didn't. I was waiting for it because I wanted to have that in writing, that letter saying, because I knew that, or I still feel and hope that one day there'll be a reconciliation for what has been done.
Yeah.
I always say, like, lest we forget. This is my lest we forget.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, we moved down here, and the only jobs that I could get was I started working orchard work, and it was a massive. I mean, over 100,000 a year less than what we were earning, and wasn't enough really to keep me afloat. But it was just enough to get through Christmas, and then all of a sudden I got my long service leave paid into my account, and I was like, "What's going on there?" Because I've been at the company for over 10 years. And I called them up. I said, "What's going on here?" And they said, "Oh, you've been let go now." And I said, "Oh, I want my letter. I want my physical letter. Please send it to me." So they did eventually send me that.
Did they say any on the letter the reason?
No, they didn't. Yeah, they just said that I've been let go. And I'd been over 10 years as a contractor, casual, thanks to the the abilities, the EBAs that our governments have brought in or when I came into the working environment. Labor never ever changed any of that. EBAs are meant to be a good thing, but they've taken away the ability of people to get those long-term, full-time employment jobs. So casual, just let go. I started my own handyman business. My son was out of school at the time, obviously, so he was working with me.
How were you feeling though at the time? And I'm specifically mean as a man, as a father, as a provider internally. How were you feeling? Because it wasn't the external that brought you down. There must have been inner conflict within you.
It was everything. It was just being able to pay the mortgage every month, watching our funds going down, feeling lost with, we hadn't taught our kids before, been trying to keep some kind of education up, not being able to go to a cafe in town at the time, you were attacked from all angles.
It's like a hurricane of madness.
Hurricane of madness, and then looking at our government going, it felt like a dystopia, and feeling trapped. Your earnings taken away. I was lost. How
about your country taken away? Because basically, you and I, you're younger than me, but you felt that Australians would not do this, would not stand for this. We thought we were larrikins, and then suddenly we're not.
We were, honestly, when we moved down here, there was a point where we looked at each other and went, we can sell our cars, get some tickets, and go to another country. We were looking at Mexico, or there was a couple of other countries that might have been safer just to get away, because we were questioning even moving down to the country. Is it enough? Is that enough? There was no protection from the government mandates and the things that they were putting in place to segregate the unvaccinated. We felt trapped.
And they built camps, so for 3 years we lived under the possibility
of having
that they could come and just take us away.
Yeah, 100%.
So that'd be on your mind too.
Oh, it was, as I said, it was from every aspect. And I hate to say it,
think you were
it broke me.
Do you think you were also grieving because something was being lost, and because I couldn't stop it. I think my gorgeous country that I'm part of was just going down the gurgler, and everyone seemed to be rushing to pull out the plug.
It was soul destroying. I pretty much had a nervous breakdown through it.
Wow.
There was a point where I remember I came home, I pulled in the driveway, and my daughter was at home. Obviously, she wasn't at school, and I was just trying to get it together. And I didn't get out of the car. I was in the car. I broke down, and I was probably in the car for 2, almost 3 hours. And my daughter called my wife and asked her, what's going on with Dad, because she was too scared to come out looking for me.
And you're supposed to be there, her protector, and you're empty.
Wasn't in a good place, was it? Yeah, it was really hard.
How'd you get through it?
Lots of soul searching, lots of this one, having a good woman beside you at the time. And I know I made it hard on her as well, seeing her husband cracking and trying to keep it all together. And it's funny, even once work invited me back once the mandate's finished. But in one part of me, I almost felt like I was caving and going back to the old that had, was so freely and so easily let go of me, So that was a real inner turmoil on going back to that life, because I knew how quickly they discarded me. They didn't stand up for us. during that whole period. So yeah.
So for all your work, all the effort you put in the end, you were just a number, and
Yeah.
you didn't. You were. How would you say? The addition didn't work anymore because you wouldn't do what the government said, so they just cast you out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, so it was tough times. It was you hear about people being, the vaccine injuries and whatnot, but us being unvaccinated and the ostracization from your family, the ostracization from just life in general, not being able to go out freely. I mean, it's a huge thing,
What about when you were watching TV and they were telling
Oh,
Koshi and,
Koshi.
and the others telling what to do with your
you wanna-
unvaccinated Christmas,
Yeah.
unvaccinated family members this Christmas? What was it like watching that?
It was disgusting. It was
I couldn't believe it.
yeah, couldn't
I
believe it.
couldn't believe I was hearing what I was seeing, and then I couldn't believe our own family and friends obeying the bullshit. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to you in 2 seconds.
That's okay.
I want to hear from the white mature male.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there was a lot going on. It was very, very hard to.
Because that was a portrayal of something deeply cultural. And what I tell people is, say you and I were brothers, we couldn't stand each other, and you were our mum, we'd still come together at Christmas,
Yeah.
like homage to love,
Yeah.
and sit there going, hey, go, mate, hey, go, mate, and just sit there gritting our teeth. But we do it for love. That's what Aussies did. And suddenly, because of Koshi and these others, they're able to go, no, mate, can't come, mate, you're not vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sorry,
It was a
mate.
great excuse to split families.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ostracize the people that decided to make a choice on their medical freedom, and on their beliefs of what the country should be, and taking away people's right to choose.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just on that medical situation. It was on a whole range of things, and what is to come in the future that you're able to say no to as well. And the people that just bought the narrative, I don't think they understood that. We all went into these rallies, these freedom rallies, and pepper sprayed and chased by police. We were getting circled by the police in the city, cattling us. Yeah, trying to break us off into groups to pull us apart. And it's funny, these left wing parties that are fighting for Iran and fighting for gay rights and all this sort of stuff. They were very happy to sit here and watch these unvaccinated get herded off, rubber bulleted, but they didn't see the connection that what they want to fight for is going to suffer the same consequences. That's there should be a unity in humans of our right to fight for what we believe in.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people that were sitting on the other side of the unvaccinated, they couldn't put that two and two together. I've got no problems with people, even if I don't believe in what they're parading for, what they're fighting for, they should be able to do it.
Yeah.
And,
It's democracy.
Democracy, 100%. And at the time, they segregated us so much that those people couldn't even connect the dots.
Yeah.
And, we were just...
We were the dirty Jews.
Yeah, exactly right. And we had the star on our arms.
Yeah.
And they couldn't see it. Many people couldn't see it, and some of them still can't.
Yeah. I'm going to come to you. Now, you're in a different kettle of fish because you were born in tyranny.
Yeah. Well, I was brought up with my mum talking about what Chile was like.
Yeah.
So we left in 76 after the regime and Pinochet taking over. So I always listen. My mum always had her stories of what they experienced with the protests, like the tanks, the water tanks, all of that. And it was just like, really? And there's videos of it. Yes, we haven't experienced that plan of agenda here in Australia. So for Australians, it's a shock. So where a lot of us are shocked that the Australian police can treat us like this. Whereas my mum's like, it's the government.
Yeah.
So it's like no surprise because they're brought up with it. So, yeah, I mean, I left when I was 6 a long time ago. I went.
She was in Melbourne though, your mum.
Yeah.
What was it like for her being in Melbourne watching Dan Andrews? Did it bring back old PTSD, or was she giving advice on what to do to handle it?
Oh, she was appalled by it. Like, she never, obviously, didn't take the jab either, and she never got COVID, the flu, ever. Very smart woman. But yeah, and yeah, no, I think it gave her a stronger will. I'll show them how I'm not in fear. So
How old is she?
she's now 80.
Oh, wow.
So she still continues going to Footscray Market. So even during COVID, she would still not wear a mask, all of that. And my rallies would be like, don't go to Footscray, you could catch COVID. And she used to say, I'm looking for COVID. I can't find it anywhere. Where is it? You know, so that's how she took it on. And she was not surprised. She wasn't impressed. And her question is when? When will they face the justice? When? You know, so that glimmer of hope is quite a low light for her, because she's seen the shit show happen in Chile, and she says this has been happening forever.
Yeah.
So
It's just our turn.
that's right.
Yeah. Can I ask, what happened to you? You're a beautician. Did you lose your job as well?
Well, I was working from home in Clarkson,
Yeah.
way too much, and then when the COVID drama hit, I thought I could continue working just slightly on the side, on the slide, but McGowan wouldn't let us, and then of course they asked dobbers, dob them in if they're working, $45,000 fine and all that, whatever. So eventually, obviously, I had to stop.
So you guys suddenly had no income coming
No
in.
income. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy.
We went through a lot of our funds, to stay alive, to stay afloat.
Can I ask you too, as a white mature Aussie male, the dobbing broke me. How passionately people were dobbing each other in, just to me went against who we were as a nation.
Oh, it's the brainwashing and dobbing in a mate. How un-Australian, but how quickly so many people adopted it.
Yeah.
is disgusting.
Well, that's it. It was almost like a moment where we thought Australia was this, and then you add a little bit of tension and a little bit of fear, and suddenly our identity is gone, and we are not who we thought we were. I found that hard to do.
Yeah, 100%. We moved down here and we ended up opening up a store for Han. So where we were working out of home before, we moved into a new area. She needed a face and a presence on the street, and we got you a shop.
Yeah, found a little shop here in town, a little lash shop. So I started doing lashes and massage and things like that. And it wasn't until I had a lady from Bailing Up who I did her lashes for, and she dobbed me into the police for not wearing a mask during our one-on-one appointment, because it's not an open shop, it's just appointment only. So anyway, then I had had a client with me at the time, and I had a knock on the door from the police, and I could hear the radios going, and I opened the door, and he said, we've received a complaint that you're not following the mandate. And I said, no, I'm not. Regarding what? And they said, do you have an exemption for not wearing a mask? I said, I don't need to wear a mask. I said, look, I've got a client with me at the moment. Is there anything you need to tell me? You need to be wearing a mask. Is your client wearing a mask? I said, no. I said, I will not allow them to wear a mask. Anyway, and I just pointed at their camera and I said, ask McGowan, I want to see the law on this mandate. I want this mandate with Mark McGowan. And then I just closed the door. I just had enough. I was like, anyway, closed the door, and I could hear him saying to the other police lady, and she was sort of having a bit of a giggle because she was standing behind him, and I could hear him saying, well, in circumstances like this, we're not going to be able to monitor what she does. Anyway, it was just, yeah.
I admire your courage to do that. We'd be, if we had 20% more people in the country, we'd be in a different place.
I think by then my fury was so strong.
Yeah.
Because I was fighting already in Clarkson with security guards for not wearing a mask. Like by the time I reached here to Countryland, and I've got one policeman saying, you've been dobbed in, I saw that as a costume. I said, who are you with your costume? Yeah. You are filtering, you're telling me to filter my own oxygen in my own shop? I was like, get out of here. I was just I was done.
Well, it's interesting. See, I grew up in Australia where Australians don't like conflict.
No.
And so if police officers...
She's been teaching me this
Yeah.
in our
It's hard for us to
23
learn.
years together. In our 23 years together, she's taught me to stand up for myself and find my voice. Yeah,
It's a good lesson for
we don't
us.
because 100% in my family communicates completely differently to her family, her upbringing and whatnot. So the Latin Americans, they're fiery, and she definitely has that when it comes to authority. When getting told, as Toffa Field says, good people break bad laws.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we were doing.
Yeah. This is because it was... Everyone who's lived under tyranny that I've interviewed says eventually non-complying is the only way out. You just cannot comply.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in Australia. We've been complying away thinking, this'll self-fix itself, repair
That's
itself.
right.
It doesn't.
We don't, as Australians, we don't want to stir the pot,
No.
We just want to get on with our lives, continue on, make it as easy as possible to take the path of least resistance. And then where's that lead you, You end up being the sheep heading straight into slaughter just because you're
that's
following
right.
the guy in front.
Yeah.
We need to find our voice, find that line, and do whatever we can not to step over it.
Yeah.
When we were getting ready to leave Clarkson and moving here, my armour was up, right? Because I was going to the Perth protest.
I see you like an MMA fighter just walking around going, who...
And pick it up, let's go! No.
What are you rebelling against? What do you got?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Show me what you got. Yeah.
This is the beauty of immigration. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of... And this is what we need.
Oh.
We need defiance.
I've got nothing against immigration. It just needs to be skilled and sustainable.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, skilled and sustainable.
So when we were getting ready to leave Clarkson, and I could sense that obviously Michael's world of the FIFO world, the big money was coming down, and we were departing Clarkson with a larger mortgage. It was massive, but I was still adamant that it's just numbers, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
And I said to Michael, yes, we bought a beautiful house. Yes, we owe to the bank. If I need to get this, they need to drag me out. I'm going down like that. I don't care. I'm not going to do it for the nice car and we need this. I'm not doing it for stuff. So my mind was so made up that you're going to have to drag me to a FEMA camp if you want to jab me.
Yeah.
So to me, the pressure of the house and the mortgage and upkeep in the bank payroll, I just didn't care. I really didn't care. I was just like, you know what? Let's go. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the cops knocked at my door at the shop. And I faced that too. And then I just think, well, and this is what we do.
Yeah.
And then after that, I confronted some of the owners of the shops in town. And I'm like, why did you accept this COVID passport coming in to buy a coffee? And like the owner would say to me, I hated doing that. I said, why did you do it? He goes, we sort of had to. I said, no, mate, you shouldn't have. These are your own people. There's 5,000 people here in Bridgetown, and you're getting them to show you the pass. He goes, I hated doing it.
This is what we just talked about. We don't like rocking the boat.
Yeah.
But this is, and you're from a different culture. This is how we benefit from this. Because Australians, we've had it pretty good for 30, 40 years.
Too good.
And not rocking the boat has made us, we've got through. There's a few things, but we've got through. But then suddenly this changed everything.
Yeah, 100%. And look, it unfortunately is the unnecessary evil that kind of had to happen.
Are you different because of it now?
Oh, 100%.
Like, do you think going through that breakdown, is there any benefit from that now you've come out of it?
Benefit. Let's look. I've got scarring from it, 100%. I mean, this whole conflict in the in the Middle East at the moment, and this, looking at digital currencies and trying to even get my kids' birth certificates without having a digital ID and doing my tax, and it all triggers me now because of what we've gone through, and I see through. So the good thing is, I suppose, getting to the good point of it is I see through it all now. When the odd time that I do see a news clip because I don't I don't actively look for it. You see through the agenda. You can you ask the question, okay, what aren't they showing us? Why are they using these words? What are they trying to pass through at the moment? So it's that that critical unease of the just of the situation of the way the world's going at the moment, and just being aware.
Question everything.
Question everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it gets tired, right? We all get tired of questioning everything, what we're seeing, what we're living, what of it is true, what of it is not true. So fast forward to being in beautiful Bridgetown, it does assist us in keeping that peace. And as you can see, Bridgetown doesn't have those large corporations here, the Kmart's, the Coles and all of that, which is great. So we have chosen a beautiful community where we can support each other. In saying that, I'm still known here as a anti-vaxxer and a pro-choice, like how dare you, So, hey, I take that crown quite happily, and that's the way we just have to get through it.
What's really interesting, though, is that we live in a world now where we don't know what to believe. And if you go on Instagram, you just don't know what's real or not. But that's maybe the benefit of what's real is love, is relationships, humans to humans. What you have is real now. It's not manufactured.
Oh, we've definitely. I mean, that's on the other side of it. Is we've met some beautiful people. We've found, from the family that we have lost to the new friends, family network that we've found down here is awesome. We've met some amazing people. Yeah, and that's probably been one of the best things is knowing that you've got people that you can rely on, have your back, and a community to fall back on. Because during COVID, there was a really, really strong community down here that had each other's backs. We connected,
and really supportive, including when we were falling apart. The ugly times, the crying times, picking your pieces up together again. They've been there to support us through it. It's not that you have to hide those emotions of falling apart or marriage or whatever, or state of mind. So it was almost an open book to these people, because hey, we're here to help each other up.
Everyone's living the same experience.
Very few people got through this unscathed either side. The saddest ones I come across now are where one partner is fully jabbed and the other partner isn't. So, and the marriage is just not working anymore.
Yeah, we've got examples. My brother, his marriage didn't last. Couldn't hold up with, obviously other issues there, but COVID was as they say, the nail on the coffin.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Well, now we're here and we're facing digital IDs coming in, trying to get rid of cash. There's a sense that there's a Great Depression coming, manufactured or not. They're talking food shortages sometimes. They're hitting us with fear. Now we've got a new virus. They're just fear. Yeah. What do you see moving forward? Like, do you see maybe you've been done an apprenticeship in oppression, like kindergarten oppression, kindergarten tyranny, and now we're heading into primary school?
Yeah, 100%. So COVID, we found a community, and our community was really, really strong. We shared trades, skills, our abilities. We shared phone numbers and addresses. So, if anything did happen, we know how to get in contact with each other. And we've been in a bit of a Goldilocks period where, the mandates dropped and things are feeling a bit better. But knowing that backbone is there, the things that we learnt, the connections that we've made, and we can fall back into that at any point. That's our prepping, I suppose. How much you can prep and plan. Some people have got the ability to do a huge amount, but just having that ability to fall back into a community, and that's what I see being the biggest help to anyone going through any sort of mass observation and food shortages and whatnot, is just having that community to fall back on, because without each other, you're all by yourself. You won't live through it. So just finding each other is the biggest thing, I think.
Do you want to add to that?
Having my shop in town.
Is that a hub you were saying?
Yeah, it's like a hub. It's evolving to that, which has been sort of my plan. So it's Pachamama in Bridgetown. So it's a clothing shop, but next door I have a little called it a Pachamama healing space, which means Mother Earth, Pachamama, and have different facilitators coming in. So we do sound healing. There's a lady coming in teaching tapping, EFT and all sorts of little things. There's
Breathwork.
yeah, breathwork, kinesiology. So it's great. But besides that, I notice the people that come in and open up, and these are locals. I've had walk-ins that they feel so at peace or maybe a sense of centered that they've sat on the couch and just cried. Yeah, so it's a beautiful place to just sit and be open or not speak, or maybe they just need a hug. So there's a lot of brokenness.
Oh, the country's full of PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
And the government's trying to march on. Oh, everything's fine. Let's
fine.
forget.
Yeah.
No, there is carnage behind us.
there is.
And I feel, well, I talked to a professor the other day, and he said the only way we can go forward and really rectify this is we have to actually study what happened and figure out. And there's prosecutions. We need to do those prosecutions. But what country would you like for your children moving forward if you had a choice?
You want your kids to have the freedom, the ability, the free thinkingness, to not be scared to try something, to have that thought that they can build something and build a future. Because I mean, our son is in that age group where he didn't have a normal high school. He was right in the thick of it, where they were wearing masks. Their school camps didn't happen and all that sort of stuff. So his age group, and then once he's graduated, he's coming into that period where AI is taking all the jobs. And so you sit down with a young kid these days and say, what do you want to do? And it was hard enough for me when I was that age to try figuring out what I wanted to do. But when you ask that question with a kid and the jobs are getting taken away and you're not even sure in what aspect, is a lawyer ever going to exist in another couple of years? Is an accountant? There's so many positions that are getting taken away. And you ask a young person, what their future's going to look like. They can't even afford to buy a house anymore. It's hard for them. So for me, I'd want my kids to have that, to be in a country where they do have hope. They do have the ability to think that they're going to, be able to create something. Because at the moment that they don't. They definitely don't have that. It's a scary time for our younger generation.
They're in limbo.
Yeah, they're in limbo. Yeah, 100%.
How about yourself?
I want the truth, and I think we all deserve the truth. And I think for the youth, they should be able to stand for their truth, because a lot of it needs to be unravelled and unlearning, if that even makes sense.
Yeah.
And fill it up with truth, and then they can stand in truth. I've always said to my daughter, I said, the truth will set you free. Love conquers all. And, it sounds a bit of like a line, but it's actually true. So, yeah, bring on the truth. It's time for no more deceptions. We're over the deceptions. So I think by clearing that, I think we're able to evolve to something beautiful.
Well, the thing is, if we do the truth and freedom of speech to use it, we can identify what went wrong.
Yeah,
because
100%.
things went wrong.
Yeah, 100%. When you're not able to even talk about the situations, when you're not able to prosecute the situations that were presented to us all, when you're never ever going to learn anything. The history is written by the
victors.
The victors, yeah. And if these people have the ability to erase the harms and the wrongs that were done during that period and manipulate the truth, we're never ever going to learn from it. It's just going to happen again. So we as Han said, we need truth to come through, shine through.
And we have to stop thinking that we're powerless because we've got that mindset that they are so powerful. We're just they're unreachable.
Yeah,
and
we're
just the
serfs.
and we're just the working ants, and that's who they are, and that's the way it's always been. No, we've got to crack that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's utter bullshit
yeah.
created by them, those who are up there. And
She's a catch.
Yeah. It's
So-
100%.
and that's why I go back to the truth. We need the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
And our education system is the start of it.
Yeah.
That's
that
a
needs to be
mess, you know.
dismantled, and
Yeah.
I mean we've got a big job ahead of us.
Yeah,
We do.
yeah.
Our-
But then we turned up at this country, there was nothing here, and our forebearers built all this stuff without computers, without machinery, you know, chisels and pickaxes and stuff, and they built farms. And our forebearers, it's in us.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA to tackle hard issues, so we can do it.
I suppose going back to your question about, you know, what was good about it or, you know, looking forward and whatnot is the best thing about COVID was that it's woken up a lot of people. And now the things that the government are trying to do and put in place, regardless of people's stances on COVID, I think that's educated them that the government doesn't always have your best interests at heart, that they are bought and manipulated by corporations. You know, our government is completely sold out to corporations, and you see that in the tax laws that get written. You know, they're owned by certain countries with, you know, the hate speech laws and whatnot that have come through that are going to, you know, eroding our freedoms away. So I think that has woken the masses up, COVID did, and now the things that our government are trying to put through, these people are finding a voice now as well. So it's good to see a lot of people waking up. Yeah.
You said at one point you were actually thinking about selling everything and leaving, but you're still here. Do you think, even though everything we've been through and stuff that's coming, that the country and the culture is still worth fighting for?
I think so, even though I've got two friends that have sold here in Bridgetown to move to Thailand, and
Wow.
and the other one's my other friend's moving to Bali, and these girls are true Aussie girls, right? And it's broken their heart to even go, this country's finished. So that breaks my heart. And I'm born in Chile, and this is my country, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's my.
And
I was born in Wales, but
Yeah.
this is my country.
Yeah. So do I have hope? Yeah, I do, because I can see people are starting to slowly going, I don't think this is working out for us anymore. It's slow, very slow, but I think we'll get there.
Now yourself, how long you been in this country?
No, born and raised in Western Australia. So.
And your fathers, they.
Yeah, my father, my father was born in Victoria, but moved to WA when he was 6 months old. My mum was born and raised in West Australia. Yeah, there are not many of us. Everyone's from somewhere else. But yeah, it's...
So I'll ask the same question of you. You've
Yeah.
got the heritage of Australian. You've probably got fathers and grandfathers maybe went to the wars to fight for us. We're here now with this culture, whatever it is, propaganda cult, whatever's going on. Do you feel that the future and the future liberty of your child is worth fighting for in this country?
Oh, of course, yeah. Definitely worth fighting for. I mean, we've got a beautiful country. We've got a great... I mean, God, look at this backdrop. We've got an amazing country. We've got amazing people here. We've got the ability to make everything that we could ever need. We've got all the resources. We've got beautiful farmland. You know, we've got we've got a great... the Aussie way of life, the Aussie way of thinking, you know, that fair go attitude, you know, we've definitely got something worth fighting for. And it's just, we just need people to stand up for that now. We need people to actually, you know, stand in their truth, stand up for what's right, and to have each other's backs. I mean, we're seeing it at the moment, the gun confiscation, stopping the sheep being exported, stopping the fishing industry, the wind turbines going in. It's each of those segments is affecting one different group, and I think these groups are now finally waking up and seeing that it's all connected, and that they all need to stand together and have each other's backs. And as a group, as being together, they can have a voice and can stand up to the government. Some of these things have been repealed. The gun reform got changed slightly. There was some Aboriginal, not land rights. They tried introducing laws
Yeah, I
here.
was here when that happened.
Yeah, where you couldn't even change a fence line on your property without having to have an Aboriginal elder come onto your land. And so the legalities of that and the process of that, people stood up and said, no, we're not allowing it. Thank God they did. But they need to all help each other as well. It's not just that group against, the government. They all need to get together.
So, kind of what you're saying, as I'm sure white Aussie male, is we've come to the time where it's okay to rock the boat.
Oh, 100%. We need to rock the boat. We need to stand up. We need to be heard. We need our voices to be heard. We need young men. We need all men to actually stand up for this country, because if we don't,
Complacency
it's not going to be
is
the
not
country
working.
and it's not going to be the country that we were brought up in.
There's a sign on the highway. There's a fork in the road. A lifetime of lessons learned don't mean nothing, it shows. Armchair doctor, experts making all the rules, selling us their theories while they take us all for fools. And there's nowhere left to hide on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give, I got no more to give. There's a cop in the distance behind a big box tree. There's a crime being committed somewhere, but the radar gun's on me. A quiet quarter afternoon, I'm doing 105, like a fat kid on a seesaw, all tilted to one side. And there's nowhere left to hide, and no one's putting up a fight on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give, I got no more to give. Clipboard, he's just out of school. He tells me that I'm doing wrong, something he could never do. The writing in a textbook ain't no there's nowhere left to hide, and no one's putting up a fight. They're all just waiting round to die on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give, I got no more to give.